This is Council President Mike Sareini of this edition of the Council in the Community. I'm joined with Councilman Robert Abraham. Bob, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we wanted to give the residents a little idea of what's going on in the council chambers and what was the reasons why we had started looking at the past councils. So when we took over the council in the term, we named the council the 34th Council, and that was help with our Historic Commission and Jack Tate, our curator at the museum, where we went back and said how many councils were involved in the city of Dearborn. There was terms where there was 2 years, and Bob, I think you remember there was a 6-year term?
6 years, 4 years.
Right, so there was scattered. So we said, let's get down and find out what number council this is. And what was the reason behind that is to emphasize, what it means to be a council person and to serve your community, and what legacy did you actually come from. When I came on, there was basically 4 of us, more than half, right, that only had 1 term under their belt.
Right.
And there were so many years when Councilman Abraham was on and my mom was on, where it was 20 years the same people, and they understood the norms, the rules, and where they came from, right? Would you agree?
Right. Agreed. And I think one of the things that tradition and that legacy brings, it sets the standard. So when the new people come in, It's important they understand the history, because they have an obligation and a responsibility really to move and progress forward.
Without question. And that was what I was trying to create. And then with the help of Councilman Abraham, he came up with a suggestion of saying, let's go ahead and do the photos and present them here in our chambers of all the council, which was a great idea.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a lot of work for our staff, because there was many times in the past, in the early 20s and so on, where they didn't have group pictures, or they had them with informal setting, let's say.
Exactly. And I think all that hard work is represented on the back wall here in the chambers. For me, sitting up at the council meetings and being able to see that tradition, and it adds depth to this room. And as you walk past these photos and you can see the number of people that made a commitment to this community to serve and improve the city of Dearborn, it's really amazing. And with council president and the council office, going back to the beginning of Dearborn and being able to walk picture by picture through each really phase of what our community went through, and you can even see the council members and the traditional wardrobes and how they dressed and how the pictures moved from just black and white headshots to full portraits in color.
Yes.
It gives you an idea of how rich the Dearborn history can be.
Without question, and as they always say, Bob, right, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and I'll tell you, it really does, especially for the younger council people. And I've told a few, hey, did you guys go look at that? Go back and look at these pictures and see where the heritage and the lineage that you're coming from and what it means to serve your community. A lot of times people get away from that, right? And this, I think, is a way to remember, hey, where you came from and what this really means to do.
And I think it also solidifies that as council members, we're all elected to do our job here. We have the charter, but at the end, we're all just people that were, for most of us, born here or lived here our whole lives and want to give back. And you can see that whether somebody was here 1 or 2 terms or somebody was here 16 years. And they're not just known in the community for what they've done in the city council. Most of these people were known in the community for more than what they did in the council chambers.
Absolutely, that's a great point. Whether they came from the private sector and business, right, or in a legal field, there was many fields that where people contributed outside and made them actually say, hey, you know what, I want to serve and give back to the community. And it does give you a perspective. I think it was a great way to honor the past and allow the younger council people to see where you came from. Like I've always said, right? You can't know where you're going if you don't know where you came from.
Exactly.
So we hope when the residents come in to our council chambers, they take a look at that history and get a look at what's, where we came from and where we are today and what the council really does, because they come to the meetings and they might see us, agreeing or disagreeing with the mayor, but in reality, there's 7 individual people that are working as one unit. Right, and it does make a difference, and it does keep a check and balance on the city, where you do have a lot of things that the council can do budgetarily. They always say we hold the purse and the strings of the purse of the money for your tax dollars and appropriations, obviously. But it is great, so when you do get a chance to come in, I hope they would take a look at our back wall and see the history and lineage of the council.
Yeah, I think it's an easy stroll to see almost 100 years of history.
Yeah.
34 councils in one place. You don't have to go very far. And you can see some of the people that are still with us and some of them that are not. And their contributions that they've made not only to the council, but to the city at large.
Absolutely, absolutely. I could never agree more with you about this project and what it means. And I hope that people, when they do come in, they get a chance to take a look at that back wall and see the history and lineage. And Councilman Abraham, I want to thank you again for your suggestion as the Dean of the Council. Has the longest term on the council as of now, which is tremendous. It really does make a difference. And I think we have a great council. We have a mix of young people, and then we have mid-range people that's seen, and business people, and it's a good mix, and it represents Dearborn.
For sure, for
So
sure.
I want to thank you so much for the idea that you gave us, and for the residents, if they do make it in here to the council chambers, please stop by and take a look. This is Council President Mike Sareini of this edition of Council of the Community.